Cornelia Connelly's marriage was torn apart when her husband converted to Catholicism in order to become a priest. Cornelia converted as well and entered the convent, but her husband decided that he wanted to win her back and sued her in court. But while Cornelia's husband turned his back on the Catholic Church, Cornelia never did. She was born in 1809 into an American Presbyterian family, and she was a lively and well-educated woman. In 1831, she married Pierce Connelly, who was an ambitious Episcopalian priest. In 1835, Pierce began studying Catholicism and starting to question his own beliefs, and he decided that he was going to resign from his parish, move his family to Rome, and convert to Catholicism. Now, a lot of people have kind of questioned the motivations behind his conversion and maybe suggested that they were a little self-serving. In his own words, Pierce said, "I saw in the Church of Rome not only an ability to conquer, as I supposed, unto God, but an ability to control effectively and to satisfy the spirits of those it conquered." Now, whatever his motivations were, Cornelia decided that she was going to take her children and follow her husband to Rome, and she followed him into the church as well, though she actually entered the church before he did. She was received into the Catholic Church before they left the USA, while Pierce said that he would only officially enter the Catholic Church once he had an audience with the Pope himself. Pierce did gain an audience with Pope Gregory XVI, and he apparently petitioned for admittance to the church so eloquently that the Pope was reduced to tears. So Pierce and Cornelia, along with their 2 children, were now officially Catholics, and 2 more children would shortly follow. Her 4th baby died 6 months after birth, and tragically, her 3rd child died when the family dog accidentally pushed him into a vat of boiling sugar. While Cornelia was pregnant with her 5th child, Pierce announced that he now wanted to become a priest. He was urged by Vatican officials to consider becoming a priest in the Eastern Rite, which ordains married men, but he was very ambitious and he wanted to become a bishop, and there were no Eastern Rite parishes in the US for him to serve in, and only celibates can become Eastern Rite bishops, so he refused. Cornelia begged her husband to reconsider his plans to break up their family, but he was determined. He sold the family's house and placed their oldest child in a boarding school in England. Cornelia then took her 2 younger surviving children into a convent with her where they lived a life of work and prayer, and she begged Pierce one last time to reconsider his plans to join the priesthood, but he refused. He was very determined. Pierce was ordained, and Cornelia took a vow of perpetual chastity. She moved to England, where Pierce had been assigned, with her children, and she began plans for a new religious congregation called the Society of the Holy Child Jesus. She was sent to a large convent where she trained women to join this society, and they had a school where they taught 200 children, and they actually ran a night school as well for adult women who worked in factories. The 2 younger children were sent to a boarding school, and Cornelia's new superior, Bishop Wiseman, decided that he was going to stop Pierce from visiting Cornelia as he had been in person so as to avoid scandal, because Pierce was a priest now. About a year after he was banned from seeing Cornelia, he showed up at her convent unexpectedly, and she begged him to leave. She begged him to never do that again, and she took her vows as a nun very soon after. The month after she took her vows, Pierce kidnapped the children and took them to Europe, trying to provoke Cornelia into following them, but she remained faithful to her vows and stayed. I'm not really sure what was going through Pierce's head at this time, but next he went to Rome and he tried to present himself as the true founder of Cornelia's Society of the Holy Child Jesus, and he tried to submit rules for her society that would have given him control over her, but she actually managed to foil his attempts. Now, when he returned to England from Rome, Pierce was kind of taken in by an anti-Catholic member of Parliament, and it is at this time that he renounced Catholicism and actually started to publish anti-Catholic materials. In a last-ditch attempt to force Cornelia to return to him, he sued her for the restoration of conjugal rights. He won the case, but it was overturned on appeal 2 years later. Although he was defeated in court, this whole thing was a huge scandal, and it painted Cornelia as a woman who had abandoned her children and her family. Throughout this time, Cornelia prayed for Pierce's soul and for him to return to the church, and she also focused her time on growing her society. Bishop Wiseman had instructed Cornelia to focus on educating the upper class, but a large amount of her time was spent educating child laborers and poor children across England. She published a book of studies that outlined her rather progressive educational philosophy. For example, female students in her school studied subjects that usually only male students would cover, like philosophy and geology. Students were encouraged to dabble in art, music, and dance, and she really encouraged the nuns in her order to act as nurturing mothers for the children in their care. Cornelia's separation from her own children was very painful for her. She said that she founded her society on a broken heart. She died on April 18, 1879, at the age of 70, and she was declared venerable in 1992. Today, the Society of the Holy Child Jesus is active in 14 countries.